Hello, welcome back to the Exchange Podcast. This is the after show. Don't do these a lot. Actually, I've never done one before. Don't know if I'll do one again. We're just going to kind of see how this goes, but kind of wanted to explain something because on one of my socials, I have had a post that I posted it. I did not expect it to get this much attention. It's between the likes and comments, it's some 12, 13,000 reactions. That's not bad. But at the same time, what the post was about, and this is going to be a little bit of a different podcast, but that's okay because that's what the Exchange is about. And if you are there and you want to jump in, please feel free, because what I'm going to be talking about this evening is the Anthony Joshua Jake Paul fight. And my post that has taken off is one of concerning how much money they made. And there's different numbers. I'm just going to go with what most people believe that it was, that the purse was split 92 million a piece. When it's all said and done, Jake Paul walked away with 120 million. Anthony Joshua walked away with 60 million. So you're going, how does there a $30 million difference? But there's a couple of things I want to get to before we get there. And number one is, if you are listening, like, subscribe, and share if you haven't already. Share it with your friends. Talk about it. Let's join in. Let's talk about let's talk about it in the chat. Just do me a favor. Let's keep the language down. Also, something new is we are putting together mugs, and if there is one that you would like to have, at some point I'm going to have the pricing up and where you can order those. And then there's some other things coming along as well with the podcast, but some other merchandise that there will be being sold. But it's finally here. And anyway, enough of the commercial. I'm getting a lot of feedback off this because what I said is I posted a picture. You can go to Tom Paul Tipton, my Threads account, and you can see it. And all I said was, that's the difference between a smart fighter and a good fighter. What was I meaning? Now, I have been, ever since I posted that, I've had people calling me racist. I've had people calling me, in fact, I've had some people tell me that, not on this thread, but some other ones, that I needed to go join my heroes, Rush Limbaugh and Charlie Kirk. I'm not going to try to figure out what that means, but this is the after the show, and what grinds my gears, which is not original with me. That's actually comes from I think it was Family Guy is who did that. I believe is who did that. But anyway, I just want to talk about what grinds my gears. What grinds my gears about this is that I am a huge fan. I have loved boxing for years. It's something that a lot of people don't know, but I enjoy a good boxing match. And my point was about the smart fighter versus the good fighter, or the great fighter, as Joe Rogan calls Anthony Joshua, a knockout artist. Not taken away from his skill, but both of them got paid a whole lot more money than they would have normally, because you've got Jake Paul, who knows how to promote a fight. And I look at someone, I think the reason that they're thinking I'm being racist is because I'm simply saying that Jake Paul is a smart fighter, meaning that he knew how to promote it. Okay, you don't want to call him a fighter. I don't know too many people who take him seriously as a fighter. But point being is that it comes down to he doesn't have to be a great fighter. He just knows how to promote. And there's something I want to look at. Some videos that that I want to look at, and that is the knockout punch, so to speak. I want to look at that because there's nothing there that does not say that he got it. I mean, he was beaten, no problem. Anthony Joshua beat him very easily.
And his chin served on a platter
there it is, right there.
For that right hand right there. And the reaction there
watch
out of
this
Jake
one more
Paul,
time.
but when he gets caught with his hands down and his chin served on a platter for that right hand right
so
there.
that hurts. I mean, you watch that, and that punch hurts. And the problem is when you're watching one video, you hear his brother in the corner screaming, hollering, "Put your guard up." Jake Paul leaves his face wide open. Now, what grinds my gears about this is that they take a sport that I love, and they have somehow turned it political. They have somehow turned it into something that, because Jake Paul has supported MAGA, that this is somehow going to be indicative of the midterms. I'm not quite sure how we get there from here, but that's what they've done. And you know what got me into boxing? What got me into boxing is something really simple. And I loved the movies Rocky, if you've ever seen them. And I watched Rocky, fell in love with boxing, and then when I watched my first fight ever, I realized that is nothing like the movie Rocky. In fact, I actually hated boxing the first few times I did it, but Rocky taught us a lot of different lessons. And one of them is, I mean, number one, Rocky is not a film about fighting. Rocky's a romance movie set to the backdrop of fighting. And if you don't believe me, let me just play something here for you from the Rocky movie. I mean, you cannot tell me that this is not romantic.
What do you think you're doing for like the next 40 or 50 years?
What do you mean?
I was wondering if you wouldn't mind marrying me very much.
What'd you say?
If you wouldn't mind marrying me too much.
Yes. I'd like to marry you.
Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Now, come on, tell me that does not need to be a T-shirt. Would you mind marrying me too much? That is not the way you ask somebody to marry you, by the way. I know I'm still single. But it's a romance movie nonetheless. And yet, you know, we have somehow even turned that. It's funny because was that last week, I think, or the week before, that KISS was inducted or not inducted, but they were honored at the Kennedy Center. And Paul Stanley is asked about, has his views changed about Donald Trump and his disagreements? It's funny because everything that we do now is all completely based on politics. We just simply cannot have fun. We don't know how to have fun anymore. We have allowed politics to completely turn us into something that is, we don't know how to have fun. Let me read some of these. I just want to read some of these comments. It's interesting. One right here. Okay. Funny how mediocre white men think money and popularity equates to respect, dignity, and integrity. Money and popularity fade. Respect, dignity, and integrity are things that are earned and built because of how you've lived. Idiots who I think he meant to say think, but he says thing a dollar means more than their life are just that, idiots. So, is that just a white man problem? So where's the actual racism? Is the racism in what I said, or is the racism coming from a thing? Because I really do not believe that most white or black people actually hate each other. I think we're being told to hate each other. I think it's coming from a media, such as stuff like this right here. We're taking something that is just very should be. Actually, let me say it like this: we're taking something that really just should be something that brings a community together, and it's kind of like any other sport. You have your favorite guy, and that guy is the one that you're going to go for, and you're going to watch, and you're going to support, and you're going to pay your money to go see. Win or lose, it's how it works. But it shouldn't blur the lines on politics, and we're going to, you know, I'm not going to hate you over it. But there's another one. I mean, I got another one. I'm literally looking at almost 9,000 comments. And I don't have time to get to all these, so I'm not going to even try. But it says, all this tells me is that I was never wrong about white mediocrity and white privilege. Somebody tell me where my privilege is. I've not found it. I don't have it. I have to get up every day. I have to put my mind to something to make certain I'm going to do it. I don't have privilege. But I think what the point is that they're upset at me about is the fact that I said it was a good fighter versus a smart fighter. Why am I calling Jake Paul smart? Because he's white? No. Because, and am I saying that Anthony Johnson's not? No. Or I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying that I'm not saying that when it comes to intellect, one is better than the other. But what I am saying is that AJ has made the most money probably that he's ever made in his life, to the point that Jake Paul has actually issued a rematch. And I think he'll take it. If he wants to make money, he will take it, because what they will do, this is the history of boxing, guys. I just played, we even see that going back. I mean, it's a movie, I get it, but that was the thing that's how you got Rocky II. Why Rocky II? Because it's art imitating life imitating art. I mean, you had 3 fights with Muhammad Ali and his name escapes me right now, but they had, Muhammad Ali had more than just one fight with different fighters. He didn't just fight one person and then he was done with it. If there was money to be made, they fought more than once. So why would they not get the purse up to about $200 million and then completely split it even? But the reason I said that he's smarter is because, number one, I'm sure he's the one who pushed to get the fight in Florida. He is the one who knew that Florida does not have a state sales or state income tax. He wasn't going to have to pay for an income tax. This is the reason that he's able to walk away with $92 million and Anthony only walks away with $30 million, because Anthony had to pay taxes, and he didn't have to pay state taxes in the state of Florida, but he still had to pay taxes higher. But yet, this is where we're going to talk about white privilege, because it's white privilege. No, it has nothing to do with that. It's only because of the fact that he understands how the market works. And another person, this is proof that white greed killed America. America seems to be doing pretty good, by the way. We've got our problems, and we're not doing the best right now economically, but, I'm not sure exactly what your point is there. Some are saying I'm coping. Just looks like a racist post to me. Another racist white dude making more money than a qualified black man. Okay. You don't know anything about my finances, but if you want to believe that, go ahead. I by all means, I promise I probably don't make more money than most people doing what I do. In fact, I probably make less. You know why? Because I'm single. If you're married, you've got more job security than I do. You probably are making more money than I do. And if you have kids, you have a lot more job security than I do. And it doesn't matter the race. It doesn't matter the ethnicity. That would be something I would love to drop from the vocabulary, by the way, is race, because race is clear across the board. Race has nothing to do with your skin color. That's ethnicity. So since we're talking about smarts here, race is the human race. And I'm not talking about different people. I mean, I'm getting this from all over. I mean, I love it. They call me a mediocre white dude with a podcast. Look, that's what you want me to be known as. Then, by all means. And here's one of my favorites. The way racists just simply cannot accept the fact a black man beat their maggot. I won't repeat that. And all this proves is that black men get less than mediocre at best white men, even when they are overqualified. Okay, now that's going to lead us to another point. Why does Jake Paul get paid as much money as he gets paid versus his opponent? This is a story as old as time. See, Mike Tyson said that what is hurting boxing and what's causing MMA to grow, and this is true. There's not been a Muhammad Ali in boxing for a long time. One thing about Muhammad Ali was he understood the business. He understood how it worked. He understood that if it does not matter, he was going to run his mouth, and he was very good at it, by the way. He was probably as good at that as he was boxing, and he was great at both. He knew how to talk, and he knew one of two things, that people were going to come see him back up what he was saying, or they wanted to come see him get it handed to him for what he was saying. It happened all the time. There were people who wanted to see him get beat up because of how he talked, and especially when, he gets out of the draft. I don't disagree with him not going to the draft because he had actually went down and signed up, and it was a whole different time. Now, you really want to talk about racism. Let's talk about racism, because when he was champ, there was racism, because he had actually went and tried to get into the military, and they kept him out, and they used smarts that he wasn't smart enough to get in until he became the heavyweight champ of the world. And then when they decided they were going to take that away from him, they drafted him. He stood on his principle. I don't disagree with what Muhammad Ali did during that time, but that was actual racism. But at the end of the day, Muhammad Ali knew how to draw people to the coliseums or the arenas wherever he was fighting. He knew how to talk. And Mike Tyson said that's what's killing boxing and why MMA is surpassing them, because MMA guys know how to talk. They know how to get the crowd riled up. They know how to make somebody want to get what's coming to them, so to speak. And that is what Jake Paul is good at. Remember something. Jake Paul, his brother, is a professional wrestler. And so I think that here's my opinion on it. Here's what I'm thinking is going on. That Jake Paul is adopting professional wrestling ideology, and he's using it in boxing. And here's the problem that I think that the powers that be, whoever they may be, here's what I think their problem is. That it is a white Trump supporter who's making boxing great again. If you, no one thinks he's going to become world champ. I don't. Maybe he takes himself as a serious fighter. I don't know. But I don't know of anyone who does. I mean, go back to the fight that he had with Mike Tyson. Was that last year? It was last year that he had on Netflix. Mike Tyson was complicit in that. Mike Tyson knew how that was going to end before. It was as predetermined as any professional wrestling match out there. They knew how it was going to end, and Jake Paul was going to win. Why? Because it's something that professional wrestlers called building heat. And it's what works. And to kind of give you, a better explanation, I'm going to let a guy who actually does it for a living explain that a little bit better to you.
And the heel takes it away. It's literally the most simplistic yet timeless way to approach your matches, approach your character, approach being a hero or a villain in pro wrestling. Because really, when you look at different cultures, different eras, different styles, different promotions, fans respond in different ways. And a lot of those generic traits that we commonly give to a hero or a villain don't necessarily get you the right response. Look at things like over-aggression for a heel, like arrogance, like breaking the rules. These three things that we commonly give to the villains. Stone Cold Steve Austin, over-aggressive, biggest babyface in pro wrestling. Shawn Michaels, arrogant, we love him. Eddie Guerrero, lies, cheats, and steals. Biggest babyface he's ever been to that point. So when you just apply very rigid character traits, it's not always going to work. You can't just trust that it's always going to get you that response. A babyface gives the fans what they want, and the heel takes it away.
All right, we're going to go ahead and stop that.
It's literally the most
to it.
simplistic yet timeless way to
And that's just a repeat, so we don't want to listen to that. But it's perfect. It's right. I mean, that is the essence of what I think. This is my opinion. This is why I said what I said. I think that Jake Paul understands what it means to be a heel. And it is what's called building heat. And so do I think he wanted to get his jaw broke? Absolutely not. No, I think that was an accident. And somebody said, well, you know, I actually had, I'm not going to scroll through to try to find it. Somebody just said it's racism at its finest, and Tom gone ahead and put your white hood on talking like this. Okay, whatever. The point is that he understands the business, and what he's done is he's come in and he's helped boxers start to make money again. Like him or dislike him, I don't know enough about him. I'm not a fan of him. His mic skills and the way that he does things and the way that he builds up a fight, he's fun to watch. It's the same thing with any other sport. I mean, you've got to be fun to watch. I mean, you've got to be entertaining. You got to have some kind of entertainment value for people to want to watch you. I mean, that's the reason why I call this the Exchange Podcast. I always invite people. Okay, come on, let's talk. I mean, you've got to have entertainment value. No, I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but people like watching the show. People have subscribed. People like commenting, and that's okay. But I'm not saying that Anthony is not smart. I'm saying that when it comes to the ability to promote a fight, he doesn't have Jake Paul's skill. That's where Jake Paul's skill lies. And is Anthony going to come out and say, well, I didn't mean to break his jaw. It was just an accident. He had his, he had his guard down and he had his chin up. No, he's not going to say that. He's going to act like that he meant to do it. I don't think he meant to do it, but he's going to act like it. Why? Because I predict they're going to have a second fight. I think they will have a second fight. And I think the second fight is going to generate a whole lot more than the first fight did. And hey, it's good business, and it's good for boxing. It's good for the sport. And guess what? It's good for everybody who's on the undercard who will fight in front of the largest audience that they have ever fought in front of in their life. I mean, this is it again. I mean, when you look at how many people are happy over the fact that Mahomes, maybe they're not happy over the fact that he got his ACL torn, but they're happy because he's out. I personally am not a Chiefs fan. I'm glad to see that there will be 2 new teams in the Super Bowl, but they are glad because Mahomes is out. And somebody made the statement. Guess what? Now that Mahomes is out, you see just how strong of a contributor that Mahomes actually is to the team. He carries the team. This is why Mahomes is paid what he's paid. Mahomes is paid. Look, guys, you're all wanting to say it's racism because a white guy's getting paid more than a black guy. No, the white guy's getting paid more because he's responsible for putting more rear ends in the seats. That's all there is to it. I mean, that's the difference. And so he's getting paid more. It's the same thing with Mahomes. Mahomes is not being paid just simply based upon the fact that he's a great football player. He's getting paid based upon the fact that people pay to come watch him play. And we're now seeing it on full display because if you watched, what was that, Sunday? What was that, 12 to 9 loss, or it was a little more than that. I can't remember what the score was, but I know Chiefs didn't get out of the single digits. And even to the point Gronk came out immediately, said Kelsey won't be coming back, and it's looking like he's going to retire. But we're not here to talk about the Chiefs, but it is not a racist thing that Jake Paul is getting paid more. It is the fact that Jake Paul has figured out the audience. He has figured out what people are going for. He has figured out what has been hurting boxing, and he has taken what he knows about professional wrestling. His brother's a professional wrestler, and he's taken it, and he said, this is what we need to do, and it's what he's doing. He has made himself the heel of boxing, and people want to see him. People want to see what happened to him. They do. I mean, a lot of people are happy that he got his jaw broke. I'm sorry. I don't get it when you're happy that somebody got hurt to that level. I can understand when you're happy that someone loses, but to get hurt, but I don't get that. And that is kind of where our society's at. I mean, it's kind of like if you've been watching to kind of polish, the AmFest that, the train wreck that is AmFest. Again, there's another situation that you've got fighting. You've got something there. Whether the fight that's going on over there at that TPA USA AmFest, it really should be called Slugfest. It's entertainment. I mean, it's entertainment value, but it's also there's something else there too. And I'm not getting off track. I'm still on what I'm trying to say here. To kind of polish that, how can I say this, turd? As well as I can. The best way to polish that is like this. It's not a good look at all. But what I think the positive that we can walk away from is that we see people we're seeing the conservatives who are willing to disagree with each other, and to either accept or reject Little Adolf, better known as Nick Fuentes. It is a good thing that we're seeing that, because we understand. Look, we're always being told that the conservatives, we don't dissent with each other. Well, you're seeing it on full display right there, and I better hope that Grindr gets. No, I don't. Grindr has nothing to do with this show. Are you? What, you trying to ask me out? No, Grindr has nothing to do with this show. But anyway, you're seeing that. They're trying to make a comparison that Grindr has something to do with AmFest. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe. I don't. Yeah, it's Yahweh too nosy. Yahweh too nosy. Huh. Okay. Yeah, it says, better hope Grindr has their bandwidth issues corrected, or a lot of attendees are going to be upset. Okay. I guess. Anyway, it is full display that the left are willing to, or the right are willing to dissent. And it's the same thing with, we have allowed something as simple as a boxing match, 2 of them, by the way, and both of them that lost were Trump supporters. And so somehow we've made this is indicative of how 2026 midterms are going to turn out. I kind of hope that most people voting. Now, I understand the left are fired up. I get it. I mean, that's what happens in an off election. And that's where we are. We're in an off election. I mean, the other base gets fired up. But I kind of hope that we don't just use 2 boxing matches as our template of how we're going to vote. I hope we're smarter than that, and just kind of look at, let's leave entertainment where entertainment is. Let's leave it where it was always meant to be, because we have allowed, like I said earlier, the very thing that would permit Americans to come together in a civil discourse in something that politics are left aside. Nobody cares about politics in these kind of venues, or at least they shouldn't. They're there to be entertained. They're there to watch two people do what they do the best way they can, because if we start to go down that road, then the problem quickly becomes that there's nothing that we can do to just turn it off and shut it off. And we should be able to. It's a sport. It's just entertainment. You know, I mean, I don't have an issue with what people are saying to me. I really don't. On here, I mean, I'm the one who posted it, and I'm okay with all of that. Yeah, I mean, I just got another one. Read a book. Your numbers are wrong. You're lying. And this is Rage Bait. They both got a split of 92 million, but you're missing the point. It doesn't matter that they both got 92 million. That wasn't my point, Urban Barbie. My point was that, broken jaw or not, Jake Paul figured out a way to walk away with more money. I mean, who doesn't want to walk away with more money? And that's what he did. You know, I'm glad that AJ is Anthony Joshua is a multi heavyweight. You know, he's handsome. Okay, must be included. Okay, black man beat the mediocre, untalented white man. Again, you're missing the point. The point is, it doesn't matter that Jake Paul is a mediocre fighter. It is the fact that Jake Paul is the reason Anthony Joshua made more money. And it has nothing to do with the fact that Jake Paul is white. He just knows how to make money. He knows how to put people in the building that are willing to pay the price of admission. It goes all the way back to the Mike Tysons, the Muhammad Ali's, the George Foremans, all of the guys that have come before Sugar Ray Leonard's, regardless of the weight class. If the person is someone, I mean, someone people want to. It's the same argument with LeBron James and Michael Jordan. Who's the last person you saw wearing LeBron James tennis shoes? Well, I don't care. He's got better rates or better stats. Who cares about the stats? Who cares about the stats? Everyone in the NBA is being paid more money because of a person named Michael Jordan. Most people, they know exactly who Michael Jordan is. They know exactly what sport he played. And a lot of people know who LeBron James is and what sport he played. But nobody, I've never seen tennis shoes with LeBron James's name on them. But you still, to this day, Nike's one of their highest selling shoes is Michael Jordan. Even to kids who weren't even around when Michael Jordan was playing. That's what I'm talking about. That has nothing to do with the color of skin. Why do we have to make it about the color of skin? Why does it have to become about the color of skin? And besides, who told you that that's what it was? Who told you that? Who even said that Jake Paul was a great fighter? I didn't say he was a great fighter. I said he was a smart fighter, or he was just don't want to call him a fighter. That's fine. We'll call him a smart promoter. He's definitely, better than a lot of promoters going today, because a lot of your promoters today aren't. Nobody's paying attention to them, but they are him. So it has nothing to do with the color of skin. Listen, I'm a Christian, so as a Christian, it is absolutely against my belief and my faith to be a racist. There's plenty of scriptures I could take you to. I won't, because this is not a preachy style podcast, but my faith dictates that I don't hate somebody based on the color of their skin. I mean, I'm looking at it from there was a lot of people who benefited from that fight, and yet we've got a lot of people who are making this racist. Just look at the business. Look at the business that was done. Look at who did. Everybody wants to argue that there was a split. It isn't. I'm getting at people talking about the split. It's not about the split. It's not about that it was an even split, because it wasn't an even split. Jake Paul walked away with more money. He walked away with more money. He walked away. So did Anthony Joshua. He just didn't make the amount of money that he could have, because he wasn't the guy responsible for everybody paying to watch it. I'm sorry, but guess what? If you believe that everything you've been told, that white people are evil, or that we simply don't have an original idea in our brain, the facts disproved you. Because I think you get down to the logistics. All the business was done on the side of Jake Paul. That's who did the business. It was him. Anthony Joshua just showed up to the building that night and fought. Great fighter. I mean, I'm not taking anything away from him. Someone said that's the difference all black people have to face financially compared to white counterparts. But hey, 60 million U.S. still spends well in the UK. No, guess what? Again, apparently you're from the UK, but guess what? It has nothing to do with the color of skin. It has to do with who was the smarter business person. When it comes to the business side of it, Jake Paul understands it. He gets it. He totally gets it. So he doesn't have to, he's not going to worry about the same things that, say, a fighter like Anthony is going to worry about. He's going to get paid. In fact, there's a video out. You can watch it. There's a video out where he's talking about broken jaw. He lost. He doesn't care, because when he woke up, he had, a check with a lot of zeros on it. He was richer. He was once again a millionaire by the end of the fight. That's what he went into the ring for. And that is what you guys fail to see. He's not been trying to hide the fact that he went into the ring to make money. We're all trying to make money at what we do. I mean, that's part of being in America, is the fact that you have the opportunity to turn whatever it is you're doing into something that can be very lucrative. They didn't look at Anthony and go, he's a black guy, we're going to pay him less money. They looked at it from the work that was done and who put in the most, and the most was and the guy who was responsible for drawing the most is the one who got paid the most. Sorry that DEI is not working for you. Sorry that DEI got rid of it, or was gotten rid of. But this is why we got rid of DEI, and this is what you guys who are going to die on this hill that this was a racist thing. I mean, this is the difference between white privilege and what America values. Nothing more. Okay, well, if that's all you're going to say, doesn't make any sense. But I don't know how this fight turned political. I don't know how this fight turned racist. I don't think we've had a racially divided country like this in a really long time. But here we are. It's really sad, because it was something that was just simply meant to entertain, not something that was meant to be turned political or cultural. But it has, and it just shows you where our country is, that we simply cannot value, we cannot appreciate the value of good entertainment. We have to make something that it never was meant to be, and all that money will never buy Jake Paul respect. I would disagree. I think a lot of people do respect what Jake Paul did. Hey, I tell you what, if cultural bunk radio, whatever you are, let me say it like this, that I think the people that was on the lower card are very much respecting, because they fought in a venue with a lot more fighters. They fought, or a lot more people watching them. They made a lot more money that night, all because Jake Paul was in that building. It's the same thing. If you take, again, going back to Michael Jordan, if you were playing for another team when Michael Jordan was playing, Sure, you wanted to be in the same building playing the Chicago Bulls because if you had merchandise to sell, you were going to sell more merchandise because of the fact that Michael Jordan, not the Chicago Bulls, Michael Jordan was in that building. It's just the way it is. It's business. And if you know how to work it, obviously there's a skill Michael Jordan was a phenomenally skilled basketball player. But somewhere along the line, Michael Jordan had the ability to understand how to dial in to what the public wanted. And he didn't just use his skill as a basketball player. He used his skill as a businessman. And he learned how to dial into what the public was looking for and how to go for it and how to get there. And he did. And it's the same thing with Jake Paul. This has, again, I mean, why you're making this out of, okay, finally one guy kind of gets it. This has nothing to do with a smart fighter. He's part owner and promoter of MVP. He and his partners pay everyone, so why would he pay himself less? Okay, there you go. Hey, there's somebody who gets it. That's what we're talking about. Okay, do you know how much money AJ is going to make from press, merch, contracts, etc.? The people love him for what he did. Okay, whatever, excuse for a human. He'll be rolling in it for decades. Meanwhile, JP can never fight again, but you weren't smart enough to figure that out. Seems to me you don't know what real intelligence is if you cheer for a racist, so on and so forth, like JP. Well, you don't know that he's never going to fight again. No one knows that he's never going to fight again. Again, I think he's as much of a professional wrestler as he is a boxer. In fact, maybe even a little more so that he's a professional wrestler than a boxer. Okay. Please stop. Both fighters earned the same amount of money, roughly about $93 million each. However, due to UK tax law, Joshua will be keeping significantly less of his pay, day at $73 million, while Jake keeps much of his $93 million due to more favorable tax law in the U.S. Google is your best friend. Don't just follow every rubbish posted on the internet. Do your own research. I get it. That's kind of what we've been talking about. Holt Tibby, or whatever your name is. That's kind of what we've been talking about. I mean, if you'd been listening, you understand that why I said, because I said it very early on, Jake Paul was going to make more money because he was able to push to get the fight in Florida. So it's business. He gets it. Anthony didn't. He's going to pay taxes. He's going to have to pay double taxes. So I've said that's why he's going to get paid significantly less. That's what I'm talking about. A smart fighter. Why didn't he negotiate? Hey, let's have the fight in England. He didn't. Well, you know why? Maybe the reason he didn't do it was because he knew that even though he was going to be taxed in England, he did it because he knew he was still going to make significantly more money. And so why is he going to bite the hand that feeds him? You know, maybe more people are making far more out of this than should be because of the fact that they want this to be something that is racist. They want this to be something that is of, weird value, that should not be. They want this to be a situation where it's their fever dream is that that this is indicative of the midterms. Instead of looking at it from we all won, if you were entertained by it, if you weren't, then it's a loss. But maybe Anthony Joshua, I'm not saying he's not stupid. He's not stupid in the least. He understood what most people that have commented on here does not understand, and that is that he totally gets that he was going to make more money, probably the most money that he makes in his entire life, unless he takes the rematch, which he could make significantly more. And he probably will retire. Could very well easily retire after that. I don't know if he will or not. There's another one. This is just for pushing of white agenda, whatever that agenda is. Most other sauces. Okay, so I'm the uneducated one. Okay, I got you. Say the made 90M each equally, but the other guy's bones aren't strong enough. Usually they broke easily. Okay. Yeah, okay. So I'm not the smart one. All right. Hey, did he mean to get his bones broke? Of course not. It's just what happens. The fight was the equivalent of the race war they've been crying about for years. Same thing. So I guess she's pushing for a race war. Tell the whole story, Tom. Jake Paul is the co-owner of MVP Production. Therefore, he made money off the ticket sales, merch, and advertising. Tech-Tia, if you've listened to the if you've been listening to the podcast, you just actually heard me say all that. A little research before trying to say Paul is smarter when he had a greater stake in the whole production makes me question your IQ versus your bigotry. That sounds exactly like what I just covered. That sounds exactly like what we were just talking about. Exactly. Because I said he had bigger stake. I said what he was trying to make more money with. Thank you, though. Thank you for agreeing with me. So if you think my IQ is low, well, you agreed with me. If we're speaking facts, both earned $92 million from the fight. However, Joshua got hit with a 37% U.S. tax. Okay, we've already covered that. Yeah. Jake's brain may have never worked right again, and it was questionable beforehand. Okay. So we're going to question his smarts. Why do you need $120 million? Buy-ins. People bought the tickets. People bought they're paying for Netflix. People are buying the merchandise. People are buying things from the company that Jake Paul owns. Jake Paul's got a lot of people depending on him. And besides that, if he earns $120 million, guess what? That's why he needs $120 million. I'm not here to question or be the arbiter of truth when it comes to what people earn. I know that if we all get out there and hustle every day, we can all potentially earn a lot more than what we do by just sitting around. And he's not just sitting around. He's knowing what he's doing. He knows what he's doing, and he's made a lot of money. But the point is, so did everyone else, not just his opponent. Everyone else who was in that building that night fighting in the ring earned a lot more money. So getting $60 million to beat a tomato can isn't smart. I mean, no, I just said that he was smart. Okay, everything isn't about, it's about shutting up these so-called alpha males with real life scenarios. It's nice showing, won't repeat, that they don't stand a chance with you in real life or outside the ring. Okay. Why does everybody hate alpha males? Anyway, the difference between being able to grift from racist white people and actually being good at something. Okay, so I'm a grifter and a racist white person. Having a sense of integrity and heart is knowing how easily living off $60 million is, because it's more money than most people see in a lifetime. Okay, so you're starting off good. Let's see how you end. And getting to have the bonus of everyone liking you and thinking you're a hero, and tons of women, keys, and gays thinking you're the hottest thing alive. So no male loneliness plague there. And your jaw isn't broken in multiple places. No eating through a straw for months. Jake Paul, which is not going to be on months. I think it's going to be like a few days. Jake Paul's just some rich racist no one likes. Well, that's, guess what? If that's what's causing people to pay to watch him get beat, then he's figured the system out. You guys, that's the point. That it's what you guys are refusing to understand. That is the point. He's learned how to play the game, and he's playing you. You guys are. It's not just the company he owns. It's not just the company he owns. You guys pay Netflix and you're going to watch it when he fights. And you're going to buy the things that anything that it's different things. This is what I'm trying to say. And Anthony Joshua doesn't care because he's making more money, significantly more money. He paid taxes to 2 countries. We've covered that. And it is a Gen Z that posted this. I will overlook it, Burr, for an old man to post this. Okay. A Gen Z that posted this. I will overlook it, Burr for an old. Well, I guess for being an old man, I at least know that I'm going to interpret what Burr means. I think Burr means it's B-U-R. So Kenny _great. I think that means 4. But notice what you did here. It is, if it is a Gen Z that posted this, I will overlook it for an old man to post this. Okay. One is smart fighter. The other is an overpaid actor. Okay. I don't disagree with that. I'll go with you on that. Also, maybe that 120 mil, Jake Paul can finally get some proper mouth and dental hygiene. Okay. I only see the one fighter on the left. Anthony Joshua, the clown on the right, is a performer. Okay. Sorry, this is not about fighters. The only fighter in the picture is AJ with all that. Well, you know what? I mean, he was smart enough to make Mike Tyson go with it. With that money, you'd think he could afford a tongue scraper, okay? It's insane that how much is spilled on these useless matches, why the sponsors or whoever pays them get out of it. I could imagine this money if it was Holyfield versus Tyson, but why on Jake? He's not even a pro. Okay, let me explain that. Why on Jake? Because Jake is the guy who has figured out how to make people hate him. That's why. That's why. Nobody hated Holyfield or Tyson like this. No one hated Muhammad Ali like this. Jake knows what works for him. He knows how to make it work for him, and he is making it work for him. That's however you make your money. I mean, if it's legal, you're making your money. That's all he's doing. You know, I mean, Anthony seems like both to me right now. The difference between 60 mil is, if this even accurate, is meaningless. His nude will never be the same with that hit. No one there. Yeah, I mean, nobody disagrees with that. Paul had the leverage, but somehow you diminished Joshua for a $60 million payday and shutting Paul up, because I'm looking at it from I'm looking at it clearly from the business standpoint. Why it's working, how it's working. It's working because it was business. Dude made $60 million in a risk-free fight. No, it wasn't a risk-free fight. He got his jaw broke. Sounds like a smart and good fighter. He got paid $60 million for a sparring match. He got his jaw broke, so there was risk involved. Okay, so most everybody's point is that the things white men will do for money is insane. It reminds me of Gollum from The Ring. Okay. Most of the racist comments I'm getting are not coming from white people. I can buy anything in my dreams. Okay, let's see. Do you mean a fighter with no dignity, self-respect, or common human decency? Well, that's why you paid to watch him lose. You wanted to see his jaw get broke because you think he has no common decency. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he's exactly everything you say, which makes you want to see him get beat, which makes you pay the price of admission, which you got what you paid for. And he got paid to entertain you. Anyway, thank you for joining. That is the Exchange Podcast after show. And that is what grinds my gears. Probably will not see you this weekend or the weekend after. But if not, have a Merry Christmas. Have a Happy New Year. And we will see you here probably back in January, unless I get an idea and decide to do a show. Until then, Be blessed. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for your responses. It's been fun. Love doing the show. We'll see you next time.